So, are you ready? Are you ready for Ask Xemmy? Ask Xemmy. My name is Shayla, and I am a senior at Clark Atlanta University. Me and my ex-boyfriend just broke up over the winter vacation, and I am really going through it. I can't figure out how to get him out of my system. We've been together since the first semester of our freshman year. Over the duration of our relationship, he really changed. He lost his scholarship last school year, dropped out, and started pursuing a rap career. I offered to help him pay his tuition using my refund checks and the money I make on my job, but he declined. He's a very prideful individual and doesn't ask for anything or accept handouts even from his family. I let him move into my apartment because he could no longer afford his rent without the leftover money from his scholarship checks. I grew irritated with him as all he did was try and make music all day and all night. He wasn't helping us clean or even trying to look for a job. For the past year, all we did was argue about how unsupportive I've been of his rap dreams, simply because I questioned him about his education and working. He's extremely smart and was a computer engineer major. I broke up with him and put him out because he refused to come home with me this year to spend the holidays with my family. He said the reason why he didn't want to come is because he didn't want my parents judging him. I later found out from a mutual friend that he spent the holidays with this bitch named Michelle, who is all of a sudden supposed to be managing his career. To make a long story short, I don't know if they had sex or not, but they are always together now. I miss him more than I can even explain, and it hurts that he doesn't answer my calls or emails. I don't want to be with a man who isn't doing anything productive with himself, but I can't stop thinking about him. I want to get over it and move on with my life. Ooh, Miss Shayla. Now, sweetie, you may not like what Xemmy Bear is getting ready to share with you, but I have to be honest because you asked, and I have to tell you. Number one, part of the reason why you're having such a difficult time getting over him is because you're still holding on to the old him. You're still holding on to the boyfriend who was a computer engineer major. You're still holding on to the boyfriend who was a full-time student who I guess went home with you all the time on the holidays to meet your parents. You haven't quite even accepted the fact that he's changed. This young man lost his scholarship and has now decided to pursue a career in rap music. And from the sounds of what you've shared with me, you haven't been very supportive, because you say things like all he did all day was, write and create music. And in the very end of your message you say, you don't want to be with a man who's not doing anything with his life. But he is. He's passionate about making music. He doesn't want to be a computer engineer. And it seems like you're still holding on to who he was then. That's part of the reason why your heart isn't able to heal. Now, you also say that you're sending him emails and calling him on a regular basis. Okay, now, oftentimes when people break up, even when you're the one who broke the relationship off, it sounds to me that in the relationship, you probably made a lot of the decisions because he was living with you. You probably, I guess, took care of the bills or what have you, and you're used to playing that role in his life. And now that you've put him out and he pretty much already felt that you weren't supporting him, you put him out and now he's spending time with his manager, Michelle. You, I guess, are calling and emailing because you want to know what's going on. You've heard that he spent the holidays with her and you're not sure whether they had sex or not, and you still want answers. But in essence, he doesn't owe you any more explanation because you put him out and you ended the relationship. You weren't willing to embrace the man he was becoming. You wanted him to be who you wanted him to be, which I can understand because you were with him for, 3-4 years, from your freshman year until your senior year now. It's hard. It's hard when we've been with someone for so long. I was in a relationship for 4 years with someone who I lived with, had a bank account with, went to school with every day, saw every day of my life. And it took me literally 2 years to get over it, you know. And in the very beginning, even though I was the one who left, I did the same things you're doing. I called, I left messages, I wanted to hear from him. I heard he was dating someone else, he was seen out with people. But part of the healing process is, first, you know, you really have got to tell your friends, your mutual friends, your single friends, when they see him out, don't come back and tell you. Because all that does is it makes your mind race. You always want to know, what did he have on? Who was he with? What were they doing? Where was he? How long was he there? And for as long as those thoughts saturate your mind and your existence, it's hard for you to truly move forward and look and focus on whether it's your schoolwork, your job, or even dating other people, or dating yourself. You know, dating and loving yourself. It's hard. So you've got to tell your friends, the mutual friend who told you that, you know, he spent the holidays with Michelle, you've got to tell that individual, look, I don't want to hear about it. You've got to sometimes remove yourself, because what we don't understand is that when we fall in love, our heart beats for that individual in a way that it doesn't beat for anybody else. Okay? And even though you may be reaching out to him just to make sure things are okay or wanting to be his friend, logically, your mind knows that that's what you're doing, but your heart doesn't. Your heart does not differentiate between, oh, I'm dealing with him today as my boyfriend, or, oh no, today I'm dealing with him as my ex-boyfriend, my new friend. Your heart doesn't know that. Your mind does, but your mind and your heart don't work in sync. So the longer you continue to try and reach out to him and try to, you know, for whatever reasons, get answers and be there, your healing process doesn't begin. And if you are truly over it, if you're truly ready to move on, then you've got to learn to take the time to remove yourself from the situation. Because as hard as it was for me to accept what people were telling me, that time heals all wounds, I didn't want to hear that. I thought that was crap. But it's true. You know, it took me 2 years to get over a 4-year relationship, but I woke up one day and realized, oh, you know, he's not on my mind. I used to wake up every day with him on my mind, and eventually those thoughts just fade away. It's not like it just hits you, but it does eventually fades away. But the longer you keep reaching out and calling and emailing and listening to everybody tell you they saw him this place and that place, like, your heart will never heal. But I don't really think you ever accepted him for the changes he was making in his life. You never embraced that person. So not only are you trying to heal from the relationship ending, but in a sense, you're still holding on to the man he was before. And you have to let that go, sweetheart. Because until you do, you're always going to carry this torch for him. And you'll never be able to really make peace with the situation, you know? But I love you just the same. I thank you so much for sharing your story with me, allowing me to share it publicly. And for all of my socialites and celebutants watching now, if you want Xemmy Bear, to read your story, your issue, your problem publicly, send me an email to VanAdams@Yahoo. Put Ask Xemmy in the subject area, and if I choose you as the next Xemmy Bear entry, I will read your story or your issue publicly, and I will then respond. But until then, continue to support the VanAdams journey. Continue to subscribe. Continue to follow me on Facebook and Twitter and MySpace. Continue to send me your messages of encouragement as I will continue to speak. We will travel this journey together here in 2010, conquering the world, one word at a time.